gives you a little bit of inspiration. And I am going to do the bit that I hate most. Please like, please subscribe, because it helps my little channel get out to more people. It helps with the algorithm with YouTube. So people know that I'm here in my little tiny Aussie corner. Okay, so what am I doing? Today on this layout, I'm scrapping a couple of photos of my daughter's first birthday, one of my children. Now, the paper pack that I've decided to use is the Flower Power collection from Scrapbook Fantasies, and I'm using paper number 4. In order to give myself some background, I didn't want to add any other papers to it. I didn't want to, they're bright, bold colours, but I didn't want, because it's a first birthday. Now, you might think it's a little bit odd that I'm doing first birthday and these flowers. Well, a little bit of backstory for you. As Jennifer has grown, she is affectionately known as my Flower Power child. Why? I will tell you why. If there is a child I have 3 children, in case you're new here. Okay, Jennifer is my youngest one. She is the most down-to-earth human being you'll ever care to know. She is absolutely beautiful. She is precious. But we call her my Flower Power girl. Why? 1, she absolutely loves flowers. All flowers. Petunias, she has a bit of a thing for petunias. Anyway, but that being said, I thought this collection actually screamed Jen, because if there's a child that will get in the vehicle and drive for an hour and then say to you, "Oh, Mum, I didn't get any shoes," that's Jen. If there's a child that will take their shoes off in a heartbeat just to be grounded, that's Jen. She randomly just brings me flowers from anywhere. Wherever she goes, she returns with the flowers. She's just that type of child. She sees the beauty in everything and everyone. She has no judgment. She's my little gymnast, if you've seen any of my other videos. She's just one of those kids. So what I'm doing there in this video is I've torn a piece of scrap paper. It was actually cardstock, and it's actually cardstock. And what I've actually done is I've inked around the edge of it just to create a bit of a halo. And so basically what it's done is, if you have a look at it, it's kind of creating a flower sort of pattern, but I've used the Distress ink, what's the colour called? I didn't write it down. It's Spun Sugar. So it's so pale in the background. You can see there's something there, but it's not in your face. That's what I wanted to do, because the little unicorn thing, dragon, I think it was a seahorse, I don't know, one of those things, that she's holding, because it's so pale pink, I figured that would sort of match in, and it will let the flowers do their own thing on the page. Now, I fussy cut these out of a piece of paper from off the piece of paper was called SFFP4. That's what she calls her, Alicia Redshaw. That's what she calls her papers, from Scrapbook Fantasies. So, which is an Aussie company, and I think if you're an Aussie, you should be getting behind local and small business as well. I mean, it's fine to have all the extra stuff, but you know what? We need to also think of local when we're purchasing. So, our supplies. So basically what I'm doing now is I didn't glue any of this down. Okay, I didn't put anything, I didn't put any tape, I didn't put the photos down, and I got it exactly where I wanted it. And if I moved that, there's not a chance I'd get it back in the same spot. So I did dare myself there to move that piece, but I think I can just get it back where it was. Now, this piece of paper that I actually used had two, see the piece at the bottom? It had two of those on it, and it created a ring, which lent itself obviously to just using that as the background paper. But I didn't want to just make it that simple for myself. So these other small ephemera looking pieces, they were fussy cut out of a different piece of paper, and they are actually, they're all separate, but when you put it together, they ran down the side of that photo beautifully. And as I said at the beginning, this is my Flower Power kid. So she's the one that, without question, she needs flowers. She needs lots of flowers. So the page is coming along nicely. This one is another one that I didn't want to put a big bold title on. I will do the writing afterwards, my journaling. I will do that later. What I wanted to do here, and this is something that you can do if you're not a big journaler, if sometimes we take photos of things that they're important at the time, they're something that you want to keep the memory of, but they don't really justify a big double page layout with a massive title and, all the bells and whistles. So this particular, obviously this is an important event for us and for my daughter, but I didn't want it to scream your typical happy birthday, with your balloons and your party hats and all that sort of jazz. That's not who this child is. Jen is, she's just not like that. She's my Flower Power kid. She's the one that will bring me flowers. She's the one that will randomly come up and just give me a hug for no reason. She's the child that will come and check on me if I've been in the scrapbooking room for, a couple of hours and I haven't stuck my head out. She'll be the one that'll come in and check on me. She's just that thoughtful. She's also hilarious. Did I mention that bit? She is also the one that keeps us laughing. I was actually, a little bit of a backstory, I was actually looking at videos this morning and I actually called Jen into the room because obviously these photos are from what, she was 1. So these photos are 10 years ago, people. And my kids have said that they are more than happy to have photos on my YouTube channel. They're totally fine with that. I just think at the moment I've got so many photos to scrap of when my kids were younger that I'll use some of those up. And when I saw this particular paper collection, I thought of Jen straight away, and that's why I bought it. I knew that I would be fussy cutting it, and I just had this in the back of my head that I would use it for some photos with Jen. Now, okay, so I am utilising 2 things here. I used the Uniquely Creative Cut Apart sheet. It's a celebration birthday piece, and you get 4 rectangles and they're just words. You can buy the die set from there and run it straight through your die cutting machine and it cuts it all out for you. Or like I just did, I just cut it myself. And I've just added those words in here, there and everywhere, in amongst the flowers. And I think that looks nice. They're inspirational words, they're happy birthdays, they're celebration, they're all that sort of jazz. And it's explaining how we feel, but it doesn't really require, the big old happy birthday, blah, 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 the things that you would typically see. Now here, I left this in so you can see that, guess what? We don't all get it right. I had this idea in my head of putting these diamantes in the centre of these flowers. And guess what? In about 3 seconds, you're going to see me remove the whole lot real quick because I'm using art glitter glue. So how I didn't destroy these flowers is beyond me. Because at that point, there you go. See, get them off, get them off, get them off. That was a big mistake. Don't do that. So what I do want them on there, but I don't even know why I did it. I was going for the center of the flower. I don't do that. That's really odd. I do it if it's so these flowers are realistic. Okay. If I do a punch out, if I do if I've got a, what do you call them? Just a punch. And if I punch out a flower and I sort of curl the edges up and all that sort of bizzo, or I die cut one, that's different. These are realistic flowers. I don't know what I was thinking. So they got removed. I did want them on there, but what I've done is I've just put them all around in between the flowers, etc. The tool that I'm using is the multi-purpose tool from Creative Memories. I don't know if they still have it. I hope they do because it's an awesome thing to have in your arsenal, especially when you've got big clunky fingers and you're trying to maneuver little tiny diamantes. I can't even tell you where I got those diamantes from because they're left over from my wedding from like 15, 16 years ago. So I couldn't tell you where to get those from. What else? That's about it. Now what I'm doing here is obviously I needed a border. We all know Karen loves a good border. What I'm using is the pastel bold tip, pastel pink round tip pen from Creative Memories. I don't know if they still have it anymore. I imagine they'd have something similar, but this pen is, I believe I've said this before, about 15 years old. Still works beautifully. I very rarely use a round tip because it's a bit thick, but on this particular layout, it stood out just the right amount. You can see the piece next to me where I was playing with different dots and dashes, combinations, and different coloured pens that I've got, and I ended up settling on this one. And you'll see in the close-ups, it's exactly the right colour, I think. So you can see the ink work in the background there. It's nice, it's there, but it's not over the top. That's a very similar way to how I did my my latest Anzac Day tribute page. It's the same thing, but I've done it in a round circle. So, yeah. So here's the close-up, guys. If you've stuck around this long, I did end up adding that sentiment on that photo. It looked a bit bare in that corner. So if you want, the photos do more justice, I think, than what this is. It's fantastic. So if you've stuck around this long, thank you so very much for watching. And please like and subscribe before you leave. It'll really help out my little channel. And I'll chat to you soon. Thanks. Bye.